card is rich with symbolism about having it all, including wealth, security, and a loving family. You might be surprised to learn who the grandfather and the child represent. Stay tuned to learn how to interpret the Ten of Pentacles when it shows up in a reading. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we'll be learning the tarot deck one card at a time. Today's video is about the Ten of Pentacles. This video will begin with a short description of the card. Next, I'll briefly explain what this card means when it appears in a reading. Then we'll talk about what each element symbolizes and what the card means when it shows up in both the upright and reversed position in a reading. I'll give some examples from my life so you can relate the card to a real-world situation. And stay tuned until the end and I'll give you several questions to help you connect with the card. I will be using the Rider-Waite Tarot in this video. You'll find the link to the deck below, as well as to the many books that I've used in my research. So let's get started. In the Ten of Pentacles, we see three generations of a family: a white-haired grandfather figure, a couple who is dancing, and a child. The grandfather is wearing an ornate robe. The man is wearing an orange tunic with a blue cloak. The woman is wearing a red dress. The child is wearing a blue tunic and white shoes. The walls are black and white, and we see the family crest displayed near the top of the arch. Just above the elderly man's head is a set of scales. On the left side of the card is a plaque carved into the wall that is surrounded by a checkerboard frame. In the right corner of the card, we see two white dogs. Behind the elderly man, in the lower left side of the card, we see harvested grapes. The grandfather is indoors and looking out over an arched entrance to the home. There is a walled courtyard directly behind the couple. Behind the wall is a village on the left, a tall tower in the middle, and trees on the right. And the sky is blue. There are 10 pentacles on the card. When the Ten of Pentacles appears in a reading, it means that you are in a very stable situation and pretty much have it all: a wonderful family life, a beautiful home, personal wealth, and a legacy that can benefit future generations. It can represent beneficial long-term decisions. The Ten of Pentacles is about taking good care of your financial resources, your property, and your health. You are using your money to provide happiness and security. It can represent taking care of an elderly family member or honoring your ancestors. It can represent an inheritance. And finally, it can represent buying, selling, or building a property in a way that benefits everyone involved. Let's talk about the symbolism of this card. In the Ten of Pentacles, we see three generations of family. Toward the front of the card, we see a white-haired man wearing the same cloak as the King of Pentacles, this time with gray hair and a beard. We assume he is the retired king and also the grandfather. The family is dressed quite simply. The man is wearing an orange tunic with a blue cloak. Orange is about harmony and happiness. Blue represents calmness, loyalty, and spirituality, and is the same color as the child's tunic. The child is wearing white shoes, which represent purity. The woman is wearing a red dress. Red represents love and passion. We see the family crest on the top left side of the card. I'm going to share Pam Richards' analysis of the crest from her book Understanding Tarot. She says, and I quote, "It pictures a castle surrounded by water, bringing emotional depth and safety, representing an emotionally secure situation, as the castle keeps everyone dry and safe from the pain of the outside world, and the water keeps invaders at bay. The three red markers show that this was created with passion, driven by a desire to succeed. Being rectangular, they bring security, balance, and to some degree, conformity. The coat of arms can also show inheritance and the handing down of traditions, a reminder that we are all part of a bigger picture," unquote. Just above the elderly man's head is a set of scales, which you can see below the two red rectangles. The red shows his passion, and the balanced scales symbolize that he has reached a balanced place in his life. These are just like the scales in the Six of Pentacles and also the Justice card, which is Major Arcana card number 11. On the left side of the card is a plaque carved into the wall. It is surrounded by a checkerboard design. Once again, I give credit to Pam Richards for her analysis of this because I couldn't figure out what it was, so I am quoting her now. It shows a tower on a mountain with water and flowers in front of it. This reminds him and others of past troubles, old battles, and the journeys of generations gone before to build what they all have. The black and white check border indicates he has resolved any past difficulties, leaving his past, again, balanced and in check." Unquote. In the lower right corner of the card, we see two white dogs. These are tame and symbolize loyalty. One is being petted by the child, and the other is being petted by the grandfather. They are in sharp contrast to the two dogs we saw in the Moon card that represented our animal instincts. Some authors believe that the child represents the fool who will eventually set out on his own journey, along with the companionship of his own dog, and the elderly man represents the fool at the end of his journey, just like in the World card, which is card 21. So the cycle continues. Behind the elderly man, in the lower left side of the card, we see harvested grapes. As I mentioned in several cards, growing grapes is not easy. It takes a long time and requires a great deal of hard work. The harvested grapes show that the grandfather's work is done, and he has a legacy to pass on to the next generation. The king is indoors and looking out over an arched entrance to the home. An archway symbolizes a blessing, and I believe that he believes his family to be a blessing. There is a walled courtyard directly behind the couple. The wall is a symbol of protection. Beyond the wall is a village on the left, a tall tower in the middle, and trees on the right. The tall tower can be a phallic symbol and demonstrate the love of the couple. The sky is blue, which symbolizes clarity and positivity. There are 10 pentacles on the card. This is the same formation as the Tree of Life, which you see on the screen alongside the 10 pentacles. I've avoided talking about the Tree of Life in my videos so far, as well as astrology and several other subjects, because I don't feel that I am knowledgeable enough to do it justice. However, the Tree of Life is very relevant to this card, so I'm going to give you a very basic description. As you can see from the diagram, the nodes on the Tree of Life are in the same position as the pentacles on the card. The Tree of Life is based on Jewish mysticism. Each of the 10 nodes is one of the 10 powers of emanations by which God became real or manifested himself on earth. Each node is called a sephira, and each has a Hebrew name that has been translated into English. Between each node, we see 22 paths, which relate to the 22 cards in the Major Arcana. So the Tree of Life depicts the 22 stages in the Fool's journey. The paths on the top relate to the first cards in the Major Arcana. We'll talk a bit more about this in a minute. But here you can see the Fool and the Magician are at the top. And at the bottom we see the final cards in the Major Arcana, which are Judgment, which is card number 20, and the World, which is card number 21. Let's take a bit of a deeper dive and look at the top 3 sephira, which I've magnified so that you can see them better. And I'm going to apologize in advance for my Hebrew pronunciation. At the top we see Keto, which means crown. We see Binah to our left, which means understanding, and Kokma to the right, which means wisdom. The path from the crown to wisdom is the path of the Fool, which is card number 0. The path from crown to understanding is the path of the Magician, which is card number 1. And the path from understanding to wisdom is the Empress. And so it goes down the Tree of Life. That's as far as I'm going to go in this video. In the comments, you'll find a link to a blog by Labyrinthos that provides more information about the Tree of Life, as well as a link to the diagram shown on this screen. When the Ten of Pentacles appears in an upright position, it means that you have created an ideal life for yourself. You're in a very stable situation and pretty much have it all. a wonderful family, personal wealth, and a legacy that can benefit future generations. It can represent that you have made good, long-term decisions. As we can see by the grapes, you've put in the work and made good business decisions. You've put money away for retirement and to benefit your family. You have achieved material success. You're not somebody who gambled away your earnings and are spending your golden years renting a room in someone's basement. Rather than just being about wealth, like we saw in the Four of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles is about having enough to take care of your family, your property, and your relationships, and of course your dogs. So this is more about using money to provide happiness and security rather than hoarding your wealth or showing it off. We see the family within a house, which represents safety, and also inside the walls of a courtyard, which also denotes safety. While the grandfather looks wealthy in his fancy cloak, the other members of the family are dressed pretty simply. The Ten of Pentacles represents honoring your elders and valuing family traditions. As we discussed earlier, in the house we see a family crest which honors their ancestors. The couple have also chosen to have the grandfather be part of their lives and hopefully respect his wisdom. Perhaps they have even chosen to take care of him. It can represent generational wealth and taking care of others. The young couple may have started a college fund or a trust fund for the child. Or they may be receiving an inheritance from the grandfather, or the grandfather has set up some kind of donation or endowment to help make the world a better place. This card can represent strengthening family bonds. Perhaps the couple in the card has decided to get married or have another child, or they are planning the grandfather's 90th birthday party or a family reunion. And finally, the Ten of Pentacles can represent buying, selling, or building a property in a way that benefits everyone involved. Here's an example of the Ten of Pentacles from my life, and it's about enjoying retirement. My father, my uncles, and many of my cousins all live in Canada where they are retired teachers and government employees. They were able to retire at 55 with generous pensions. All owned their own homes and had the funds to travel and enjoy life. Our families are close and financial security is not a problem. Although nobody is King of Pentacles wealthy, everyone's lives are safe, secure, and filled with family, much like the people on this card, minus the castle. I think that is the feeling of the Ten of Pentacles. You have what you need emotionally and materially. It is not a card about showing off. It is a card about truly appreciating what you have. When the Ten of Pentacles appears in a reverse position, it means that you have problems in all areas of your life. You have issues with your family, your security, your finances, and your health. It can mean that you have financial problems. Perhaps you made poor decisions in terms of investments or chose short-term pleasures such as vacations or buying expensive toys versus saving for retirement. You're in debt or have experienced financial losses, either based on your own decisions, such as you like to gamble or failed to do some tax planning, or things beyond your control, such as a stock market crash. It can mean that there is a problem with your home. Perhaps you can no longer afford it or your house has fallen into disrepair. It can signify that you are very lonely. There is some kind of conflict in your family that leaves you feeling alone, such as you're having marital problems or you disagree with the choices that your children have made. You grow old without family or friends to keep you company. It can mean that you are not respecting the elders in your family or helping to care for them. Or you might choose not to honor a family tradition. It can mean that you have abundant financial resources, but you decide not to share them with your family, or you're trying to control your family with money. It can represent conflicts over an inheritance or being too focused on a future inheritance. It can mean that you are suffering from poor health. Finally, that you have reached the end of your life, but you have not left a legacy. You are pretty much stagnating. This is the person who spends their retirement watching Fox News when they could be making a contribution to society. Here's an example of the reverse Ten of Pentacles from my life. I am at a point in my life where my parents, who are 89, are nearing the end of their life, and so are the parents of my friends. I am extremely close to my mother and also my mother-in-law, and I try not to think of how sad I will be when they are no longer on the planet. I was taken aback a few weeks ago when, in the same week, I had an identical conversation with two of my friends who expressed that they were looking forward to a parent dying so that they could collect their inheritance. Both knew exactly what they were going to do with the money and seemed excited that they would have more financial freedom. I know that this point of view isn't uncommon, but it makes me sad. The subject is a little raw right now. Yesterday, while writing this script, I learned that a dear friend had passed away suddenly due to a brain aneurysm. Her son is an only child and the same age as my son, in his late 20s, and I know that he would give anything right now for more time with his mom. Money is nice, but it's not everything. Here are some questions to help you connect with the Ten of Pentacles. Number 1, what is your definition of security? Number 2, are you making long-term decisions such as considering how you will afford retirement? Number 3, are family traditions important to you? Number 4, how would you like to spend your money? Number 5, do you use money to control people? Have you ever had someone try to control you with money? Number 6, are you investing in your health as you grow older, or are you solely focused on money? And finally, number 7, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be? I hope this helped you connect with the Ten of Pentacles. Please join me for the next video, which is the Page of Pentacles.